there's nothing Alexander could do because of what the sport of wrestling has taught Islam. Like if you guys, I competed in Dagestan. I've been humbled in Dagestan. I owe a lot of my success to Dagestan for the same reasons. Like, hey, I knew losing was the levels that I knew that I had to go to when I was in high school to be able to become an Olympic champion. And actually be one of the best guys too, by the name of Cejudo, called Rest in Peace. He ended up getting into a car accident, but 4-time world champ, 2-time Olympic medalist, silver and bronze. Super good. He was favored to win the Olympics, but the reason why I bring his name up is because these are the guys that I had to look up to eventually beat. And just imagine where where he comes from, and the lineage of Olympic champions, world champions, and all these different disciplines in his country, in his city of Dagestan, where he can get the best of the best. And this is why I just feel like it's going to be too much work for Alexander. His pound for pound, courage though. I got to give him that. It's ballsy for what he's doing, but I just think it's going to be easy work for Islam.
Helen Yee here in Arizona. Always great to be joined by the one and only King Triple C, Henry Cejudo. Always great to see you.
Always great to see me too.
Well, first off, though, most importantly, it's almost America's first birthday. So what do you have planned for her?
Oh my God, man, we're having a big party out here in November. I'm not even going to tell you guys. Some of you guys are probably stalking, but we're going to have a birthday for her next month. And we're just going to enjoy the time that we have with her. It's been so cool, Helen, to be able to see my baby grow, having this time off while I'm still training, doing all this other stuff. And, man, it's just precious.
Well, shout out to both you and Anna, because I've seen it firsthand. You guys are great parents, and we're all excited to watch her continue to grow.
She's going to outgrow me, dude. It's not fair, dude. I think by the time she's 10, dude, she's going to be like her mom. She's going to be super tall.
10 years old, not 5?
I'll give myself 10. Come on.
Okay. Just kidding. But there's always so much going on. I know you mentioned in the Triple C and Schmo show about like your return and also who you would like to fight next. However, you are looking a lot slimmer, and I've seen that you've been working very hard, and no McDonald's, no orange soda lately.
No McDonald's, no orange pop, no Fanta, and just strictly back to business, I think part of a lot of where success brings to is you enjoying your time. But there comes a time where you got to go cold turkey completely. And I miss that stuff too. So I even think of a guy like John Jones, who has been away from the sport for 3 years. I'm just like, John, you guys are tripping on John. John is good. John is good. John knows that he needed that time to reconcile and fall in love with the sport again. And now he's got that chip on his shoulder, which is going to make John Jones extremely dangerous, which is going to make Triple C extremely dangerous.
But how do you compare the motivation for this time around compared to everything that you've accomplished? 2-division UFC champion and Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, money. And money's not a bad motivator. It isn't, because when you accomplish everything, Olympic champ, flyweight champ, bantamweight champion of the world, you're after the big paydays, and that's what you want. And every opponent that I see, especially with the family now, I see a damn dollar sign, and I'm out there to snatch it, grab it, and cash it in.
I know that you will be returning to the bantamweight division first, but is the featherweight gold still something in your sights?
100%. Like, the only reason why I am going to bantamweight is to conquer what I want at 145 pounds. Anything can happen with the UFC, but if I have to get my belt back, to be able to have leverage, to be able to fight the champion above a weight class, and become the first 3-division champion in the UFC in UFC history, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to make history, plain and simple.
And you definitely have been making a lot of history, especially in combat sports. And that's why so many people consider you one of, if not the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. We're all looking forward to your return.
Of course, but not one of the greatest combat athlete of all time. Because you know what? People cannot like me. They can hate the character, but just look at the accolades. The accolades speak louder than my damn words, and I talk a lot of shit. So that says a lot. When you become the youngest in history to win an Olympic gold medal at the age of 21 in 2008, when you beat the guy with the longest winning streak, and still till this day it stands by Demetrius Johnson defending it against a guy in EPOs by the name of TJ Dillashaw, another Hall of Famer, to eventually be not knocking out the number one contender, Marlon Moraes, and then Dominic snooze and putting him away in 2 rounds. I mean, my resume speaks. It does. For as much shit as I talk, Helen, rightfully so, my resume speaks louder than my words.
But speaking of talking, you are a great analyst as well. Last year, it was almost 1 year ago, in your home, you told me that you feel Islam Makhachev is a future UFC champion. He just won the title from Charles. So do you see him being a dominant champion like Khabib was?
Yeah, I see him being just as dominant as Khabib. And I can see him becoming a two-division champ if Kamaru Usman's not up there. Because I don't think they would fight each other. But I don't know how many years Kamaru Usman has planned. But I know that whoever ends up snatching about 170, Islam's next, and he's going to snatch that title too.
Someone who is targeting welterweight gold in the future that we've spoken about before, Khamzat Chimaev, do you still see him as a future champion as well in that welterweight division?
Man, you know what I used to with Khamzat? I think if Kamaru does leave, I can see Khamzat maybe getting the bout at 170. But I don't know if he could make the weight. You being 8 pounds over, and then him not having the ability to really take down Gilbert Burns as I thought he would, my my mind changed with Hamza, and it's okay because I'm allowed to change my mind. And plus, having guys like Bo Nickal come in with real wrestling, with real accolades, not just being a Swedish national champ. Like Hamza was never at the Olympic level. He's just a good wrestler and believes in his stuff. But I've never heard of him. When you get somebody at that level, when you're at the highest level, like you hear about these guys. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know, dude. I think the toughest fights for a guy like Hamza, I still do believe he could beat a guy like Israel, but he has to get to him first. I think the toughest matchup for someone like Hamza is Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is the toughest matchup for anybody at 185 pounds. And if he decides to go up to 205, he's going to be the biggest matchup for any of those guys too. And I can see Robert Whittaker maybe even potentially going out there and actually winning that title. I would love to get my hands on Whittaker and teach him some of the things that he was missing on that Israel fight. Like I really would. Not to get the credit or the coach, even though that's kind of what I portray on the internet, but to really help him on the areas that he was really missing. Because I see those fine little things that he's missing tactically, the little technical errors that he's doing of not snatching wrists, of just moving your body forward, things like that. But I like Robert Whittaker, but there's something about him in Israel where he doesn't pull the trigger, and I just want him to know that, and that bugs me because I know when I recognize good talent, and Robert Whittaker is good, but I'm talking about this guy could be great. I do believe if he goes up to 205 pounds, right, like now, I think he could become champion. Not so much belief I got in this dude.
You mentioned Israel. He has a big title fight coming up against someone he's very familiar with in kickboxing, Alex Pereira. How do you see this one playing out in MMA?
I've rewatched their fights, their first fight and their second fight, and it really comes down to momentum. When you get these guys at two high levels where they just strike, it's going to come down to who is it that's the aggressor more likely is going to win. Because if you go watch their kickboxing fights, I watched the first one, and Alex beat him. I watched the second one, and Israel was actually fucking peeping up. He was beating him up. Had a 10 count on him. I don't know if a lot of you guys watch it. And when I saw that second fight, I'm just like, okay, Israel's able to make those adjustments, but it's because he was more the aggressor that second fight. In that first fight, it was all Alex. Whoever's able to control that aggression is more likely going to win. And I don't, I like Alex, and even Israel, man. Even though I talk a lot of shit about Israel, he's a champion for a reason. But it comes down to that fine little T. Who is going to be the aggressor is more likely the guy that's going to win.
And lastly, someone you just mentioned as well, Bo Nickal. It looks like on Twitter he's been trying to come up with a nickname. You're good at creating nicknames, so do you have a suggestion for him?
Ooh, Bo Nickal. Money Nickel. What's up? You like that, Bo Money Nickel? I like money, dude, because he is money. And you want to bet the house on a guy like Bo Nickal because he has the wrestling base. He has the self-belief, which makes him more dangerous. He comes from a great program. I think it's Bo Money Nickel. That's it.
That flows pretty well.
There you go. There you have it. 10%.
And for all your fans, what would you like to let them know? And of course, Hasbullah pillow right there.
That you guys can all do me a favor. Each and every one of you. You guys can all do me a favor and bend the knee to King Triple C.